Joining us now, Parents Defending Education President Nicole Neily. It's great to see you again, Nicole. Okay, now President Biden it's good to see you. President Biden is now he's now trying to tap into parent frustrations over schools. His education department now creating a new parent council. The GOP has already staked out this terrain. How's this going to work at the education department?
It's a great question. I mean, from first glance, it looks like it's a bunch of rubber stamping yes men, because strangely, it seems like our invitation and invitations for people like friends we know, like Moms for Liberty, our invitations were lost in the mail. Let's remember, a lot of these groups supported the White House's memo. They applauded the NSBA's letter. They supported Merrick Garland for the Supreme Court. They opposed Justice Kavanaugh's nomination. So this is just a group of ideological yes men. And so I'm not surprised, but I am disappointed in this administration.
You know, to your point, half the country, 25 state school boards, now ditching the National School Boards Association. And to your point, the NSBA, they had asked the White House to crack down on school board parents as domestic terrorists, but the nation is not having this at all.
Right. And let's not forget, the NSBA is a taxpayer-funded entity because their dues come from state associations. Those state association dues come from local districts who, again, have taxpayer dollars. And so this is just another example of one of these D.C. associations that is using and weaponizing our money against us. It's time to defund this whole infrastructure, because even as the NSBA crumbles before our very eyes, those same state associations are still in place. And there are still groups like the American Association of School Superintendents, the National Association of Secondary School Principals, that are still ideologically captured and bought in on this nonsense.
You know, Nicole, you and I have talked about this, and we've had guests on, people who fled Cuba, who fled China, and North Korea. They're worried about what they're seeing the far left doing with schools. They say they saw the same thing, the same indoctrination happening in communist countries. Listen to this North Korean defector. She's scared about U.S. schools indoctrinating children and not educating them. Again, warning, this is what communist countries do. Watch this.
The thing about North Korea is that it's so oppressed to the point we don't even have the word for oppression. There is actually even the control of language and words. And this is why it concerns me, where there's something called a speech code, the things that we cannot talk about in America right now. So when one more person converting every day like that, we are gonna end up like North Korea eventually. So I think it's our personal responsibility to protect as many people, as many children as we can from this massive indoctrination coming from the left.
Nicole, how worried should Americans be about this happening in the United States? Because we've got Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. He's saying Florida is focusing on education and civics. He says, stop turning schools into ideology factories. How bad is this?
It is bad. And you know what's interesting to me is some of the most strident and brave activists who we work with at Parents Defending Education are actually first-generation Americans that come from countries like Cuba, from Russia, from China. They know how this story ends because they have seen it play out in practice. They don't want their children to be told that showing your answer in math class is white supremacy. They want their children to learn calculus so they can apply to MIT and have a better life. And so I'm so thankful for people like Yeonmi who are so brave in speaking up, because they're speaking from experience and we should heed their warning.
No, Nicole, so talk to us. What exactly are you guys seeing when it comes to this kind of indoctrination? Is it focused on class and race and turning children against each other? Some are victims and some are not, or what is it? What exactly is the ideology here?
It's coming from all sides. Last year when we launched, it was almost all race-related. This year we're getting a lot of gender things. But when people are divided along the lines of immutable characteristics like race, like religion, like sex, then we're not able to actually turn our eyes outward and compete, which is fascinating to me. I mean, if I were a competitor of America, I would be laughing right now, because what kind of country is going to be able to focus on excellence and innovation when people are at war with each other? I mean, let's think about this. You know, there are thinly veiled ties in a lot of this curriculum. And even, I mean, thinking back 2 years ago to Prop 16 in California, to entities like the Chinese Communist Party. And so I think it's in everyone's best interest, except for America's, for us to be at war with ourselves. And I think that's why we really need to take a step back and think, who is driving this agenda? Because this is un-American for us to be at each other's throats about things like this.
Nicole Neily, terrific having you on. Come back soon, okay? It's good to see you.